Colin Cowherd is one of those radio hosts that takes himself far too seriously. But we're in June. You gotta drum up controversy somehow. You're digging to the bottom of the content barrel and are avoiding all baseball talk. It's just football and basketball if you're doing national radio in 2023. He had this to say about Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud.
You know, there's the old belief, tougher the childhood, tougher the route, eventually tougher the kid. Crown molding, granite countertops, BMW.
Jesus Christ.
Soft kid. Just being honest. Tougher the childhood, tougher the route, eventually tougher the kid. So Noah Brown's a wide receiver, played with Dak for several years in Dallas. Now he's a member of young Dak, emerging Dak. Now he's in Houston with rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud. So this is interesting, right? He played with young Dak. Now he's got young C.J. Stroud, and he compared the two. C.J. Stroud, yes, is more talented than Dak Prescott. Easily. He was a much better high school quarterback, a much better college quarterback, and NFL scouts and GMs rank him as a much better NFL prospect. He's better than Dak. But that's where quarterback is really interesting and unique in our American sports landscape. Is he as mature as Dak? Is he as tough as Dak? Does he have the leadership skills of Dak? Is he as resilient as Dak? Dak is very highly ranked on intangibles. And part of that, most of that, my guess, comes from Dak's journey. Dak got sacked 55 times at Mississippi State in his last 2 years. I watched a couple of those games. He got the hell beat out of him.
Okay. So we got sacked a lot, Dak Prescott did. And C.J. Stroud played at Ohio State, which is a team that's generally better than the teams that they go up against just about every single Saturday until the last game of the regular season against Michigan, the Big Ten championship, and then if they make it, which they generally do, the college football playoff. So I understand some arguments against C.J. Stroud, but did you hear what Kaepernick, I keep on saying Kaepernick. Did you hear what Cowherd, I guess it really goes to show you how relevant I think Colin Cowherd is at this point, and that I'm confusing him with a quarterback that's been out of the NFL for a really long time, but whatever. Cowherd, in this spot right here, at the very beginning, says it's about what you go through in childhood. Colin, CJ's dad was in jail. He's been in jail since 2015. You could have looked this up. We ironically did a segment where we compared all the adversity that possible Texans quarterbacks have been through. And we came to the conclusion that, I don't know, having your father in jail from 2015 on is slightly more adverse than what Bryce Young had to go through, which is being a short king, and also more adverse than being Will Levis, who went to a New England prep school, went to Penn State, transferred to Kentucky because who knows? Pulling the old Tom Savage. At least he only went to 2 schools as opposed to 3, which is what Tom Savage did. You could have looked this up. Stroud's dad, Coleridge Bernard Stroud III, is serving a 38-to-life prison sentence after pleading guilty in 2015 to charges of misdemeanor sexual battery, robbery, kidnapping, and carjacking, all relating to a drug-related incident. C.J. Stroud, he's 21 years old. 8 years ago, he was 13, and his dad went to jail. He was in high school with the dad in jail. And there's more. And I don't know that this means C.J. Stroud is going to be a great quarterback because of this, but his mom couldn't afford private trainers. So he was doing a lot of this on his own. And without even a dad at home to help out. I don't know if there were other figures in CJ's life that helped him out on that front. I know that he is a man of faith, and I respect the hell out of him for clinging to that faith when you got all this stuff in your life that's going in the wrong direction. On top of that, while he was at Ohio State, they brought in Quinn Ewers to compete with him. Like, he never really had that job locked down in a way that Ohio State felt 100% confident in him. And that's something Stroud even brought up. So, look, who knows where this leads for C.J. Stroud in his professional career, but that's just mind-numbingly dumb by Colin Cowherd here. Got it right that time. Dumb. I mean, you could have just Googled this. And here's the thing about these TV sports radio shows. They have people who do research for them. So if Cowherd wants to fire an intern or a producer, he probably could. But how do you not know that C.J. Stroud's dad was in jail? And if you're going to talk about adversity that people go through, that should be at the top of the effing list. Were people not aware of that for Stroud going into the draft? This is a guy that everyone thought was going to be a top 10 pick. Maybe they weren't 100% sure that that would last with the S2 test scores and all the other things that were coming out about Stroud. But Stroud's clearly been through a lot of adversity. I think having your dad in jail from the age of 13 on, and probably never going to see this dad again for what, like 40 years? Unless there's some sort of parole that happens early. That is a lot to go through. And on top of all of this, Colin Cowherd is using NFL rookie with an X to do his research. That's the other thing we're learning here. So Cowherd saw Cole Beasley retweet NFL Rookie Watch's quotations of two words, and you see how this account is such a problem. A boil on society, and it must be eradicated from the internet. But all-time bad take from Colin Cowherd, which is not saying much, but bro, Google.com. You are old enough to know that that website exists. Maybe you're not old enough to know how the TikTok works, how the Instagram reel works, hell, how Twitter's search engine works. But Jesus, how do you miss on that when you're talking about a guy going through adversity? This is a pretty big one. Just a thought.